Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Masahiro Onishi from AEON Global Merchandising. I joined the Levi's Trade Mission this year, also last year. I see a lot of improvement about the convention itself and also the industry going more forward to the export-oriented attitude, so that's really good to know. All right. So, as I explained, I joined the AEON back in 2002 and started working for the importing side of the supermarket business. And I've been dealing with Australia for more than 10 years. So it's my honor to speak in front of a lot of enthusiastic growers today. So let's start. So I'm going to cover those agenda today. So for those of you who do not have an idea who's AEON, I'm going to introduce a little bit about our company and then cover the vegetable consumption, consumer side of the aspect, and also cover what's going on in the agriculture industry in Japan. And lastly, have some message for you guys. So, as I explained, AEON has the business spanning 14 countries and having a supermarket operation in Japan, China, and Thailand, and Malaysia. And we're just opening stores in Vietnam and Jakarta, Indonesia. And this is a main business, superstore format. And we also have a supermarket format. And this is a discount store format. You find a lot in Malaysia. We purchased a Carrefour operation last year, and we changed the name into AEON Big. And these are the example of express store in urban area. As Tokyo, we don't have much space to open a superstore. So we are starting this type of express store, especially in Tokyo area. And we also have a drugstores and pharmacy, and developing a shopping mall too. And also we cover the financial service, banking and a credit card. And we have operation in Australia. This is Tasmania feedlot we have in Tasmania, a little bit south of Launceston. So we really appreciate Australia as, for us, it's a, brand, for the people. It's, people know it's Australia, it's a nice country. You want to make it someday in your holiday, right? So this is the 4-shift strategy we are aiming at. The senior shift and the metropolis shift and the digital shift and the Asia shift. As you know, Japan is having a problem, the aging of population problem. But this is a pretty common issue all over the world. But Japan is the most suffering from this aging of population problem, as you see. At the moment, 23% of the people are 65 years and older. And the forecast is year 2060 will be close to 40% of them 65 years and over. And the shift is, senior shift we call. We are going to target the large market segment. We call them active senior or the grand generation who has the time, money, and also healthy condition. So this is going to be for us, it's a large market segment. And the next strategy for AEON is shift to metropolis. The chart shows the ratio of 3 major metropolitan areas within Japan, and obviously compared to the other areas, the population ratio is increasing in Greater Tokyo area and other metropolitan areas. So we spend more money in those metropolitan areas, as you see. So this express store is kind of a format we are opening, and so far we opened 400 of these express stores in Tokyo area since 3 years ago. And the next shift, our strategy is the shift to digital. As you know, more and more people shop online, and these bottle crab we eat at maybe the family gathering in the winter time. Now bottle crab is sold 60% online. It's a huge increase, and as you know, the Amazon.com is now doing an experiment in Washington and California, introducing the fresh produce sold online. So we have a physical stores, so we have to put this together to have a new business model. That is our strategy. And the next shift is shift to Asia. As you see, this chart is showing the 10 years economic growth rate forecast from year 2011. In Japan is maybe the lowest growth rate. And on the other hand, Asian countries like China, Indonesia, and Malaysia, Thailand, Hong Kong is having a much higher growth rate compared to Japan. And this red arrow is showing we have a supermarket operation at the moment, and as I said, we are opening a store in Vietnam and Indonesia very soon. So that means we will spend more money not in Japan, but Asian countries. So now this the AEON strategy, and now expand consumption side of what's going on in Japan. So, simple question: vegetable consumption is what's going on. It's decreasing, and why? So, as you see the chart on your right-hand side, this is a vegetable consumption transition in Japan and the USA, for example. Back in 1980, when I was born, Japan was consuming 123 kilos of vegetable per person per year, and the ideal consumption volume of vegetable is 350 gram times 365 days is 128 kilograms and above. However, as time goes, in 2009, we're only consuming 102 kilograms of vegetable per year per person. On the contrary, US is very successful in promoting eating vegetables year by year. As you see, it's increasing. And why is it increase? In Japan, it's decreasing. Some of the ideas, I don't have a particular background, but this is what people say. More women are working now, so because of the long stagnant economy in Japan from late 90s, the household has to make more money. So a lot of more women working now, so obviously that causes reduced cooking time for household. And also the household is becoming smaller. This single person household ratio is about 30%. Some of them the senior people, and also the late age of marriage is causing more young people living alone. So if you're living alone, if you buy vegetable at the supermarket, most likely you cannot use everything. So it's not really worth cooking on your own. So maybe that's one of the cause. And as you see the right-hand side, the picture of a drink. This is by Kagome. It's saying in Japanese, 1 day of veggie, this one bottle. So it's a good, easy message for consumers. Imagine they don't need to eat vegetable if you are drinking this one bottle per day. So maybe some of those people are believing that's the way to go, but maybe that's one of the reasons vegetable consumption is decreasing. In the chart on the right above, it shows the consumption of major agri products, and as you see, this is happening maybe because we more and more introducing westernized food culture, eating more meat and dairy products and less veggies and grains. In the chart on the right bottom is expenditure on the salad. So obviously it's increasing, and what this means is, if you're eating more salad, raw salad, compared to the traditional way of cooking. For example, this is a simmered kabocha squash. You use 600 grams for 4 people recipe. If it's a simmered daikon radish, you use 500 grams of daikon. But if you're eating coleslaw salad for 4 people, you're only going to eat 340 grams of vegetables. So looks like we are losing the cooking culture of traditional cuisine. So this is for example, just for your information, this is a regulation of labeling at the supermarket in Japan. I heard that it's same in Australia. We have to say the country of origin, either on the packaging. This is carrots from Western Australia. This is onions from Tasmania, and this is kabocha squash from New Zealand. But it's saying, country of origin in Japanese languages. And even on the flyer, you have to say where the produce are from. Let's say U.S. Either you can say the country of origin at the POP. So you can imagine, you want to buy Australian produce in your countries, right? And Coles is proud of having over 96% of their produce sold at their stores from Australia. Same in Japan. Japanese consumers prefer to buy local produce. So for your information, vegetable self-sufficiency ratio is 78% in Japan. And on the other hand, a food service industry does not need to show country of origin. So it looks like food service industry importing a lot of produce from China, because you don't need to say it on the menu. So what's happening is, if you go to the supermarket in Japan, you don't really see much produce from China or even Australia. But food service industry are seeking the cheapest available with the minimum food safety program implementation. For your information, our major supermarket within the AEON group, AEON retail vegetable section, sells 94% of Japanese domestic veggies. So only 6% is the imported, including Australia. Now, we go to the agriculture industry. So as you see, farmers, this is the farmers' population by age group, past and future. Year 2000, the average age of growers is 61. That's already old, but as time goes, in 2010 it's 65.8, and we expect next year, 2015, the average growers' age will be close to 70. Farmers are rapidly getting older, you see. So, and this is a region by region forecast of farmers' average age. So, in the central Japan area and western area, almost danger zone, as you see. So based on this background, what we have to do, what we believe have to do is, people, eating less veggies and farmers are getting old. So this is some of the things we are doing at the moment, introducing cut and wash prepared veggies and appealing functional veggies, some of the activities to support preserving good old food culture, and partnership with young enthusiastic growers in Japan, and maybe some partnership with AUSVEG. So this example of introducing, washed and cut veggies. I saw similar products now becoming available in the Australian market, and Malgawi farm is introducing that kind of thing, and I know Fabian's got the award last night. So, yeah, I understand you're looking at the same direction. And this is something very hot at the moment. It's still controversial, but at the moment we really cannot appeal the function of vegetables under the current Pharmaceutical Affairs Act. But the government will, I hear people say government will loosen the regulation, so I'm expecting a lot to appeal the function of veggie at our stores that will enhance the consumption of vegetables. And these are examples of our food artisan activities, supporting the good old food culture that can contribute to the more consumption of vegetables. And this is AEON Nojo, meaning AEON farm. We have a direct farming operation, not all over Japan, but quite a number of farms all over Japan. And the idea is to produce by supermarket near the stores and supply to the stores. So who's growing that, and they're now doing a lot of leaf vegetable daily transport to our stores. And maybe that's one of the things, because growers are getting old, so maybe we have to do it on our own. Or there's a young enthusiastic growers also in Japan, so we really have to have a partnership with those guys. And if that's not successful, maybe we have to have a partnership with AUSVEG, maybe. And also we have an operation in Malaysia and Indonesia, those Southeast Asian countries, so it can be possible we supply half of the season from Japan and half of the season from Australia. So and at last, I have some message to you guys. Japan may have to rely more on importing fresh vegetables. Growers are getting old, so maybe this is the situation. And the good thing about Australia is Australia has counter-seasonal advantage. So at the moment we're importing onions from Tasmania. We have a window in March, April, and May. So you have a counter-seasonal advantage. But Australia has the highest labor cost, so not everything we can import into Japan. To think about the, it's a competitive market. Yeah, Australia definitely has the highest labor cost in Pacific countries. That's something you have to remember. But at the same time, pinch is chance, people say. So maybe you can lead the, you want to cut the labors, but instead you can introduce the automated farming operation. So I believe you'll be the first country to lead the most automated farming operations in the world. So the carrots and onions, for example, are not labor intensive. So I think the items that is automated, items you can automate the farming operation is something you have a competitive advantage against the other countries. And in the last, you are always welcome as long as we can introduce a win-win relations. That's the most important thing. Okay, that's about it. Thank you. I'll welcome question.
Yeah, I'm Mike Badcock. I'm a farmer from Northwest Coast, Tasmania. Interested in your comment of maybe a possible partnership with AUSVEG. I think there's a lot of potential to develop joint ventures partnerships with producers in Australia to direct supply your company. I see that as a way forward. I just wondered what your comments and thoughts were on that.
Even at the moment, we're importing not really a partnership with AUSVEG, but privately, we're importing onions from Tasmania and carrots from Western Australia. So as long as you have a competitive advantage exporting into Japan, but at the same time you have to compete with the produce in Japan. Obviously, people first choice is domestic grown produce. Same in Australia, same in Japan. So it's easy. You can say, oh yeah, it's nice. Let's have a partnership. But first of all, it's got to be win-win relations. So, but as we go today, we're going to cover the FTA and the other issues that's really promoting the export to Japan. So I'm really looking forward to working with you guys.
Good morning, Kerry McCarthy. I know that your company has market chains all across the Asia Pacific area, but if for comparison of vegetable prices, current vegetable prices over there at the moment, perhaps if you could give us a comparison like potatoes per kilo here in Australia compared to a similar product in Japan. So just so that we can get an idea of, if your produce was dirt cheap over there, obviously exporting for Australians with the costs that we have of growing and producing our vegetables and the labour costs, etc. Just so that we don't get our expectations up too high.
Yes, the retail price generally in Japan is basically cheaper than what you're seeing in Australia. So it's, first of all, it's really difficult for you. Maybe you have to sell at the cheaper price, FOB price, that's the port delivered price, and you have to add the sea freight or the air freight cost to get to Japan, then clear the customs. Maybe you have to pay extra duty there, and we still have to deliver to our depot and to our stores, and having the similar delivered price as you have in Australia. So this is I think is the most difficult thing for you guys. But if you think about I hear a lot about the you're experiencing at the moment in Australia is you only get the two major supermarkets, and even though you have a wholesale market, if you have an excess amount of produce, you have to negotiate to supermarket having a discount or whatsoever. So, maybe you can export the excess volume to Japan or Singapore or Southeast Asian countries. Maybe Japan, think about the freight or the air freight and also the plant quality regulation. It's not the easiest destination for Australia. So maybe you can start with a PQ regulation easier countries like Singapore or Hong Kong. But yeah, my answer is retail price is quite similar or cheaper in Japan for most of the items. Potatoes, for example, 1 kilo of potatoes is about 2 Aussie dollars. Yes, maybe similar. 1 kilo of onions, about 2 Aussie dollars. Again, it's from the minimum labor is more than double you have than we have in Japan. So the base is a little different.
Yeah, Hugh Eden. We've got farms in Queensland and Victoria. I see that Japanese buy a lot of Japanese produce. Is that because they've got a competitive advantage and it's cheaper, you know, or is it because the Japanese are very parochial and want to buy, you know, Japanese?
People believe domestic produce is safe and fresher, and maybe light, maybe not, you know. Yeah, that's people's mind, and I think it's similar in Australia. People want to support domestic produce, but if you have like a pricing, you have a competitive advantage. People may choose the better option, or if you can say this is from Australia, why it's from Australia? Because, you know, if you have such stories, you know, people may attracted to buy Aussie produce.
Please join me in thanking our guest speaker. Thank you. Thank you very much.